Hey there, welcome to the Not Just Mama podcast, the show where we talk about building businesses, chasing dreams, raising little yous, and keeping it real through all the chaos. We're diving into mindset, motivation, and all things mompreneur life, all while microwaving our coffee for the 20 millionth time. I'm your host, Heather Madsen, a dream-chasing mompreneur who knows exactly what it's like to juggle big ambitions with a million daily tasks. Because let's be honest, we're not just moms. We're wives, we're partners, we're daughters, friends, creators, dreamers, and so much more. And just because we're raising little tiny humans doesn't mean we have to put our dreams on the back burner. We deserve to chase them, build something incredible, and make a difference, all while being amazing moms. So go ahead and nuke that coffee once again and get comfy, because we're diving in. Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about being an introvert in business and how to be brave while doing it, okay? So this episode is for every quiet-hearted woman out there who just dreams of building something for themselves but feels intimidated by the thought of being seen or heard. So if you've ever felt afraid to speak up, to be visible, or just to take up space in this world, you're not alone. I want you to know that. And I want you to know that really you don't have to change who you are to show up bravely, okay? So I have a question for you today. Have you ever stopped yourself from posting something because you were worried about who might see it? Maybe your old coworkers, your aunt, your uncle, or that one girl from high school who still follows you for some reason. I feel that way. I can't say that I'm perfect when it comes to this, and I'm constantly working on it. And I still struggle when I go to hit that post button, but I find a way to do it anyways, because that's how I know that I'm just going to get better at this and get more confident with it. But yes, I still do struggle. And there were so many moments in the beginning where I definitely felt held back. And it's not because I didn't want to build something, but more because I was afraid of what others would think. And especially with people that I personally knew or was acquainted with. I'd be afraid that I'd sound silly, or that I'd mess up, or I didn't have anything worth saying. And honestly, if I'm to be truthful, I was afraid of being seen. And, I am not perfect. I still struggle with this all the time. The fear is real, especially for introverts, because being visible can feel vulnerable in a way. And when you expose yourself to the world and tell them what you think or what you're doing, or you just build something that maybe somebody doesn't even understand or wants to understand, it can be very intimidating to just push publish, right? I'd like to give you a little insight on how I think I became an introvert. And I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to how people become introverted, but I think there are things that happen in our lives that lead up to that, okay? And I don't want you guys to think that I am putting blame on anyone, because I'm really not. But so my dad is from Scotland and my mom's from Thailand, and I was sheltered a lot as a child, and I don't believe it's because my parents meant to be that way and hold me back from my greatness or whatever, but I don't know that they were up to date with the times. I mean, they were always worried about me, where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I was exposed to, right? And my mom did not know what the popular TV shows were or movies. So, if you ask me today if I've ever seen an older movie, I could possibly tell you no. Or, stuff like that. My parents never let me spend the night, but, I understand that now as an adult because of things that can happen. And something that happened to my mom in the past nurtured that feeling with her own kids, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. And I believe that created somebody that was very reserved in myself. And then, going into elementary school and middle school and high school, kids are mean sometimes. And if you did something out of the ordinary, like you can get made fun of. That happened several times to me in my early childhood where I would do something because I didn't know any better, get made fun of for it, and then I would feel bad about myself and hold myself back from doing anything outwardly, if that makes sense. And I think that started this journey down a road where I held myself back from a lot of things, from expressing my opinion or, even just speaking up or showing up on stage. I was in orchestra. I was just so shy that I would prevent myself from doing the things I know that I could be good at. I don't know if that resonates with you or not, but that's how I feel. And as an adult, it affected me so much when I first started doing hair. And by the way, I built a business of my own over 15 years, and I have a lot of clients who love me. But when I first started, I was so scared. I was so scared to talk to people, and I didn't know what to say to them or how to build a conversation. I loved the schooling part where I learned how to do hair and all this other stuff. But when it actually came to graduating from cosmetology and entering the workforce, it was very intimidating for me to even talk to people, to build relationships and build a business that I did. But I took it day by day, and, I'd go home every night and be like, okay, what can I talk about with my customers? What can I do to build a relationship? And I would sit there frozen while I'm cutting their hair. That awkward silence when somebody's cutting your hair and you're just like, this is weird. I don't know if I will come back, sort of thing. I was so scared that they were thinking that. But every single day, every single client, I would force myself to spark a conversation. And a way I did that was I asked them what they were interested in, and then I just went off of that. And if you find something that somebody's interested in, they'll talk to you for a long time. And that's what really helped me become brave. So somewhere along the way there, I realized that being an introvert doesn't mean I'm not brave. You can build bravery over time, and you just have to step out and just get out of your comfort zone, face your fears. It sucks at the moment in time, but I promise you that's how you can help yourself come out of it. I realized that, introverts express themselves differently than extroverts. And, I'm a normally quiet person, but I feel that with practice and effort and just, taking that first step into something that's unknown to me, that makes you powerful. So I wanted to talk a little bit about real fears that introverts face when entering into entrepreneurship or building a business. And these are real fears that I even felt. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm still constantly working on this. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to be an introvert and have that fear. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's healthy, actually. But I want to talk about those fears and how we can move through them in our own way, okay? So one thing that I feel that most introverts face when they enter entrepreneurship is the fear of being seen or judged, and especially by people who know you, all right? I don't know about you, but I feel like if it's a total stranger I'm talking to, I'm good. I'm okay. Like, I can talk to them all day, and it doesn't make me nervous. But I feel like it's the people that are closest to me that make me nervous because they know me. They know who I am, right? And when I step out into something different, something totally out of the ordinary, because if you think about it, building an online business and building an online course is not the norm. Like, you don't walk around every day and be like, oh, hey, I do online courses. I teach people this and that. Like, it's not a thing. Usually people go into a workplace and they, have normal jobs. I don't know what you would consider a normal job, but I feel like online businesses are kind of out of the ordinary. It's not typical, but I think it's becoming more typical. But it's the people closest to us that I feel don't understand us when we want to step into this world and build a business for ourselves. You might be afraid that people will wonder who you think you are for doing this, right? Or that's not a real job, so she needs to get a real job. But here's the truth. The people who really matter, who are in your world, who is your audience, they won't judge you. They're interested in you and they love you for who you are and who you show up as. And the ones who do judge you, they're not building your life. They're not paying your bills. And we got to ask ourselves, are they really watching us? Okay, like, have you ever watched somebody yourself stepping out into something that was totally out of line with who you thought they were and judge them? Are you looking at their stuff constantly? Or do you like scroll by it and kind of look into it for a little bit and then you're just like, whatever, you move on, right? Are people really watching you is my question. But I want you to know that you are allowed to grow beyond the version of you that they once knew. And that's okay. No one stays the same. We're all always constantly changing. And that's okay. And you know what? People accept it. I see people change in my life all the time, and I accept it. It doesn't mean I don't like them for it. But you see, this is where I think we need to create a mindset shift within ourselves. So an affirmation that you can tell yourself is this, okay? This might help you. If you're building something with your heart, with all of your heart, there's nothing embarrassing about that. What you're doing should only matter to you. And you're not creating happiness for anybody else but yourself and possibly your family, of course. But why does it matter what they think? Why do they get to have a say in what you do? You're not building a life for them. You're building a life for yourself. So tell yourself, if you're building something with all your heart, there's nothing embarrassing about that. And we shouldn't be embarrassed. So another fear we have is the fear of not having anything to say. Have you ever felt that way? Like, I don't know what I would say. I still feel that way, like, especially when it comes to the podcast. Like, I don't know what to say. What am I showing up for? I don't even have any content. I don't even have anything to post on Instagram. But what if I run out of things to talk about? What if nobody cares? Okay. And these thoughts will come up a lot, but they're not the truth. Your lived experience, your perspective on everything, and your story, they all matter. And they have the ability to touch people's lives. And guess what? You don't have to talk all the time or have a million ideas to be valuable, okay? You just have to show up when it feels right and speak from your heart. And when you speak from your heart and you have passion about what you're speaking about, people will relate to you on so many levels. I just did this recently where I posted something. I just had this very strong, passionate feeling about things that don't serve you anymore. And I created this 1-minute video, and like the introvert that I am, I had the fear of pushing post, but I did. And I did it in front of people I knew. And I was scared to do it. But you know what? When people saw it, I had so many comments and likes and text messages saying, I saw your post. And I really felt that. I felt that in my heart. Like, I resonated so much with that. And you know what? I was actually really glad I posted it. You know, that fear of pushing that button and getting seen is all in your head. It really is. And you wouldn't be doing the world any favors if you held back how you thought and how you felt and what you feel in your heart. So here's my tip. Start by sharing what you wish you'd heard when you were struggling. That's always a great place to begin. And this brings me to the next fear, okay? How do you get better at speaking? How do you get better at recording yourself? How do you get better at putting yourself out there? There's no better way than to just do it and do it over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I recorded my first lesson in my first online course because I would rewatch everything that I recorded and I'm like, nope, I don't like that. I have too much RBF. I am going to record this over again and I know I can do better. And I did that so many times. And you know what? I'm glad I did because I did get better. I got better at speaking. I got better at recording myself and showing my face on camera. Have you ever started recording yourself on your phone and you're just like, I am stupid. I feel awkward. Yes, it's going to feel that way at first. I never recorded myself in my life before this online business, but now I can get on a camera and just do it. And it's just a matter of me pushing publish, right? So the only way to get better at something is to do it over and over again. Okay, the next fear I'd like to talk about is the fear that you have to be loud and extroverted to succeed. You see bold personalities going viral, and it makes you question if you're even cut out for an online business. But let me say this as clearly as possible. You do not have to be loud to be successful. You just have to be real, okay? People want real. They don't want fake. They don't want people saying things online just because they think it'll get likes and comments. They want somebody that's real, that they can relate to and feel them on a deep level. And introverts are actually really incredible entrepreneurs because we listen deeply, we think intentionally, and we connect genuinely. So here's a reminder for you. Bravery does not mean being loud. It means showing up even when your voice shakes, even when you're scared of speaking from your heart. An important thing that I think we all need to remember also is that even though you're an introvert, you can build a business around that. You can build a business that suits you and your way of wanting to do business. You get to design your life and business in a way that honors your energy and your personality. I have tried so many times in my life to change who I am so that people could like me more. And if you haven't known me for very long or, seen pictures of me or seen me in person, I have pretty severe RBF and a lot of people notice that. And that holds people back a lot from even approaching me. And I'm very aware and self-conscious of it. And I work on this feeling every single day. And I've always tried to be better about that in the past. I'd go into the store and try to smile, and I know it's not genuine. It's not who I am in that moment in time because I'm just relaxing. And when you are smiling, when you're not really feeling it, I feel like it shows, and it just doesn't feel natural to me. It feels almost out of my body. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it feels like I'm out of my body because it's not me. But I've learned over time that, hey, this is who I am. I know that's not my heart. I know I'm not this unapproachable person because once people come up to me and get to know me and they start talking to me, I build relationships. Otherwise I wouldn't have a clientele that know, like, and trust me with their hair, right? So what I'm saying is build your business around you and who you truly are. Do not try to be somebody that you're not. If you want to write instead of go live, great, do that. If you prefer one-on-one conversations to doing big webinars with thousands of people, that's awesome. If you want to batch create your content and quietly nurture your email list that way, I think that's perfect. There is no right or wrong way to do this. I think the only wrong way really is if you do it out of alignment with you. Okay? So here's my tip. If it does not feel right within your heart, if you feel resistance to it and you feel pressure, it's not for you. But if you feel ease and it feels good and it feels in alignment, that's where your energy should come from. That's what you should build your business around, okay? I really want you to just embrace your introvertedness, okay? If you've been letting your fear hold you back, your fear of being judged, your fear of visibility, fear of not being enough, please hear me. You do not have to change who you are to build something powerful. You do not need to be an expert to make impact. You just have to take one small step forward, just like I did when I started doing hair 15 years ago. I took a step every day, every client. I took a step forward and I got out of my comfort zone and I built a successful business. Okay, and so can you. So if this episode resonated with you today, please make sure that you subscribe and also subscribe to my email list so you don't miss out on any news or upcoming episodes, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me today. And remember, being brave doesn't mean you need to be loud. It means showing up as you are, even when it's scary. You're allowed to take up space in this world in your own quiet, beautiful way. And don't forget, you're not just a mom, you're so much more. So let's go chase those dreams. And if all else fails, just survive until bedtime. Okay? See you next time.